Oh, hey, welcome back. I'm Andrew with Tuvizo Sport, and today I'm going to talk to you about technique. Now, running technique is not a video I was originally going to make, but I've had a lot of questions and I think it actually is appropriate. So today, that's what I'm going to talk to you about. So let's start with the legs, because to be honest, it's your legs that are doing most of the work. Now, your leg is a series of levers with joints. When you propel yourself forward from the loaded position, it's the thrust of the back leg that gives you that momentum. And you are straightening out all three of those joints. So you go from that to that. So the important thing is, with all those levers providing that thrust, is you want them all operating in a straight line. You want them going forward as much as possible, not pointing in different directions. But unfortunately, we're not all bolted together like bolts, Usain Bolt, okay? Genetically, we're all unique, and not everything is straight. I'm going to give you an example. So if I lift my knee up as if I was running and point my knee directly in the direction I want to go, and I put it down again, that foot is lined straight up in the same direction now. So when I just extend this leg behind me, both those joints are going to do the right thing and propel me in the correct direction. Look at this one. I put this knee in a straight line and I put it down. Look at my foot. My foot is now not straight. That's because my ankle is not attached to my leg in an ideal way. It's not bolted straight on. I can't do anything about that. If I try and correct that by turning my foot in when I run, my knee is going to be going across my center line and I'm going to end up with a knee injury. So we're not perfect. Right, moving on to the torso. The torso is a bit more simple. The important thing about the torso is to have it balanced so that you don't waste any extra energy. You want as much of your energy as possible to be working through your legs. Now, because you've got two legs and you can only thrust with one at a time, clearly you're going to be pushing one side of your torso really hard and the other side is not going to have any push on it at all. So you're going to get a twist. You're going to get a constant rotation of the hips, which is a natural result of pushing backwards hard and throwing your other leg forward. It's going to turn your hips. And that is going to throw you off balance by rotating your torso. And you don't want to be doing that and fighting that twisting motion. So the only way you can compensate for that is with your arms. The reason you want to swing your arms is so that you don't have to swing your shoulders to compensate for your hip movement. So you want to keep those arms swinging, which comes naturally. It's the same as walking. Your left leg goes forward, your right arm goes forward. We all know this. But your arm is a very long lever, and to swing this arm backwards and forwards like that would take an enormous amount of energy because it's so long. So we naturally bend our elbows. And what you want to do is you want that elbow at 90 degrees. That is the optimum bend in your arm when you run. If it's slightly more open, it makes the full extended length unnecessarily long and makes it really awkward to swing. If you close it by more than 90 degrees, this is still your swinging lever. It makes no difference. All it does is tension up your bicep and waste energy. So 90 degrees like that is where you want your arm. And when you are running correctly and efficiently, you will find that that angle barely changes at all. At every point of the movement, that 90-degree angle stays. Now, what about the front? Well, you drive backwards, and remember that this is your lever here. So if you think about your elbow and driving back with your elbow rather than your hand, because if you think about driving with your hand, all sorts of other funny things are going to happen. Forget your hand. Your elbow is what is moving your arm. When you come to the front, there is a slight natural tendency to cross towards the center of your body. Don't try and run with your arms going in a straight line like this, because remember, there's hip rotation that you're trying to counter. And you won't counter the rotation if there's no cross movement in your hand. So your elbow is going straight, but your hand is coming slightly across the front of your body, and it can come to the midline of your body, somewhere under your chin. It's absolutely fine. It's quite natural, and in fact is much easier to do. Now bear in mind that with every stride, your foot is landing underneath your center of gravity. So your foot, even though it's on one side of your body, is landing underneath the center line, which is why your hand is coming up towards your center line. Your hand is pretty much in line with where your foot is going to be landing. This big heavy thing on the top of your shoulders can do nothing to help you run, apart from, I guess, mind games. But it's really heavy, so you need to balance this on your shoulders as level as you can, so that you're not using any energy in your neck and your shoulder muscles to try and support it. And if you have it hanging down here, you're using a lot of energy in the back of your neck. If you have it like back this way, you've got a similar problem in the front. If you have a habit of nodding as you go, imagine a 2 or 3 hour race. Imagine just standing, nodding your head for 3 hours. How tired would that make you? That's a complete waste of energy. So you want your head balanced on your shoulders so that your neck muscles and your shoulder muscles can be as relaxed as possible. So you probably need to be looking 30 to 50 yards or meters down the road ahead of you, and try to keep that line of vision in the same place. Now, it's a good idea to get someone to video you so that you can have a look at your running form sort of as an outsider, and you'll see things that you would not pick up if you were running. Here's an example. This is me now running towards the camera, and it felt as if I was doing everything correctly. But look at my left arm. That's on the right of the screen. If we stop it there, you see how far across the middle that's coming, and look where my elbow is. It's sticking out sideways, and my shoulders, as a result, have twisted, which it doesn't do on the other side. Now, I don't know if that's a result of my skew foot, and if we look at the foot placement, you see where it's taking off there. That could be creating a twist that goes right up into my torso, and maybe my arm is compensating for that. But I don't know. It may also just be a bad habit. So that's something for me to look at. It is a lot to think about. So I'm going to leave you with 2 really important things. This is to eliminate tension, which is a terrible waste of energy. Make sure your hands are loose. Okay, don't squeeze, don't clench your fists. If you clench your fists, you create tension in your arm, which goes all the way up into your shoulders, which then goes into your neck and restricts all your freedom of movement in your upper body. So make sure your hands and fingers are a little bit floppy. The same thing with your jaw. Don't clench your teeth. Especially when you start getting tired, you tend to want to bite and hang on and fight. The more you fight, the more energy you waste. Have a loose jaw, let it just kind of hang there. And if your jaw is slack and your hands are slack, it's almost impossible to tension up your neck and your shoulders and your arms. You can't do it. Okay, that's my takeaway for you today. Run with your head level. Worry about your knees pointing in the right direction. The rest is not important. Keep your arms at 90 degrees, but don't clench your fists and don't bite your teeth. Right, so that is a lot to think about. Technique can be really technical. But take away those key points, eliminate the tension, the rest will come. It's a work in progress. It takes time to develop a winning technique. If you think this was useful, click like, subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more interesting and exciting running videos on their way. Send me an email. Here's my email address. Any questions at all, I'm always happy to answer them. Enjoy your running.